Hi, everyone. It's James Colhoun here, and I'm here with one of our graduates from the Food Matters Institute Nutrition Certification Program. Hello, Lynn. How are you?
Well, James, thank you very much. How are you?
Fantastic. Great to be chatting with you today. What was it that inspired you to study nutrition and, make this leap to get certified?
So initially, I had years ago in my 20s, I had terrible eczema, asthma, migraines. So that's what, with no reprieve really or answers from the medical system, I was looking for something else. So I found an incredible nutritionist in London who helped me a lot. But the one thing I think he taught me is how complicated the whole system was. So it's been a long journey for me to find my space in this little as a health coach. So when I found your program, it was perfect. For what I do with my program, it was the perfect place to be. Thank you. It was amazing.
Was there something that surprised you about the program or teachers that you didn't really know before that you fell in love with or a certain topic that you didn't think was covered that was covered?
So I think that with the all of the teachers, I loved every single one of them. The person who made me actually buy your program, the reason why I decided to press go was because you had Dr. Libby on there. And Dr. Libby for me has been that one person who has changed how I present my work, how I feel about myself and how I like to heal and nourish my clients really. So she was the icing on the cake to make me join the program, but it was exactly the right price point for what I wanted. And all of the students, all of the teachers were just amazing. I think maybe Christina, I never can say her name, Christina Ore.
Krista Orecchio.
That's it. I think she was possibly my favorite and the person I go back to the most. But I mean, maybe if I did the whole program again, it would be somebody else. Do you know what I mean? At that point when I did it, she was the person that absolutely made me sit up and listen. Yeah.
I love that. Two of my favorite people. Krista, unfortunately, is no longer with us, which is really sad.
Uh, she,
And I know, bless her soul. Libby, actually, I adore and included her in the Transcendence docu-series as well, which I was just such an honor to have her a part of that. We've since, been on certain stages together and figured out that we're from the same hometown in Australia, which is really cool. A very random hometown called Tamworth, New South
yes.
Wales.
Yes.
So, I have a lot of connection there, and I love her so much. Her brain, the way she thinks and
Mm, mm.
disseminates information for women in particular is so powerful. So since studying the program, what was there a point where it changed you and you felt more confident to be able to build what you're building? And then how did that happen for you?
So if I rewind a little bit, so I've sort of placed myself between the GP and people like Libby and Christina, the people who are just so inspiring. But I found that there was a void in between because the GP doesn't mention any of those things. But when you go straight from potentially where you were to the nutritionist, it's a big jump. So all of my changes, it's a program basically that is a mindset. So I do food, fitness, and feelings. Basically, I was trained in fitness, and therefore I did nutrition through fitness. But then quickly, with my own health issues, realized that what we learned in fitness in terms of nutrition was just not enough. So I suppose since I've joined the program, what I loved about the program is how it gave me the confidence to keep doing what I'm doing. But in my program, I don't actually tell people what to do. Obviously, I'm changing their mindset around the food, if that makes sense. So every single one of those people gave me the confidence to continue doing the work that I'm doing, basically. I think that's the easiest way to explain it.
I love that. And this idea that there is this enormous amount of people that are in the medical system. And then there's certain people that are doing really high level work with nutritionists, but in the middle, it's like people are lost. They need just day to day help on how can I work on something. And I think a point you made there is very interesting. There's many ways to look at nutrition, and there's many sort of philosophies. And you have a fitness based view of nutrition, which is very much calories or macros.
Yeah.
And then you have a food as medicine approach, which is very much what the Institute's program is about that we have.
Yes,
And
exactly.
then you have individual philosophies, which, paleo, high protein or high fat or high carb or low carb, and vegetarian and paleo, lacto ovo vegetarian. I think that
So too
what's
many.
there's so many. And I think what really made me so focused on wanting to sort of help support this certification program into coming into existence and bringing these, 50 experts together was to create a place where food as medicine was the primary concept, but then also biochemical individuality was the anchor point. Everybody's different. Everything's, works differently for different people at different times. Did that resonate? Was that a core feeling that came through with the program?
So, in answer to that question, people are different, but at different times. So, one of the things that I've learned from working with, it's mainly women, but I have men as clients as well, is it needs to be a rotational thing. So because you sort of do this, that, but you can't just keep going. You have to come back to where you were. Like you might be making changes, but then you're so focused up here on the high core changes that you've forgotten your basic changes again. So with all of the amazing instructors on your course, and again the bio individuality, so my space then is to help people keep coming back and finding which part of the program suits them at that particular time, if that makes sense. So I always say in week one in my program, it's week one, WON, like I won the race, which is water, ownership, and notice. So we come back to notice where we are every time we come back to week one. But my program doesn't change, but they change. When they come back to start that program again, they're either on holiday or they're in a stressful time in work or they've got sick people. Do you know what I mean? It's not necessarily the information that changes, they change. So where they are in that point. And then with all of those amazing instructors that you have, I find that every time I go back to listen, I'm in a different space as well. And therefore different people ring a bell at those different times, which is so powerful. Really so powerful.
I love that you say that. I think, like, for me, I first started getting deep into nutrition like over 20 years ago, and I've been through a lot of journeys. And it's like a spiral, you keep coming back, but then there's growth and then things happen. There's stressful moments, your diet changes, you're living in a different climate or in a different culture. Plus, as you age, there's different needs that you have that were not there 10 years ago. And so I think one of the things that you highlight, and I wonder if this was true for you in your study of the program, was this not saying this is for everybody or this is for all women with this. It's very there's an art to nutrition. There's a science. There's equally an art, and I think that that is something that I'm so grateful that all the teachers when they come together, it feels like they're teaching an art of there's science to it, but then it's like different times for different people, different genealogies and different locations and different seasons, and that's healing.
Yeah. And I suppose that's where I bring mine back to seasons and because nature actually doesn't want you to be doing the same thing all of the time.
Yeah.
And as I explained to them, and Dr. Libby says this, she says, eating and then punishing yourself in the gym is not nourishing your body. And so she flipped the way I think about the information that I already knew, but I suppose I didn't. What I think she changed is how I understood it. So I could repeat it back. But when I did some work with Dr. Libby, I really understood it on a deeper level, how important it is to make changes because you love your body, not because you hate your body. And then when you approach the whole gamut there, whichever changes you're making, life looks completely different.
That's such a profound statement there, Lynn, like making changes from a place of love as opposed from a place of hate. They're two very different motivations, right? And I think Jason Vale first mentioned this to me in an interview once, and he features in the program a little bit. He sort of has this frame of like, well, it's a get to, not a have to, right? And
Yeah,
so,
yes, yeah.
like, if you think about diet change, it's like, no, I have to eat this. It's like, no, I get to eat this. And I love, David Wolf always said something that stuck in my head forever. He's like, if you keep adding great things in, you don't have to worry about not eating things. Just let the good things crowd out the bad things. Because many people that approach diet are so scared. You're like, you're going to take my such and such away from me. You're going to take this away from me. But Yeah, I love the teachers we have in the program, and I'm glad that you share that same love. We could riff on them for hours, but for the people listening to this conversation, and that may want to work with you, tell me and tell them how they can find you, and what sort of speciality that you have, and what sort of program you take people through.
So I start off, I have a 12-week program basically, which is called the 5-Star Challenge, which there are 5 changes, and we follow the star, which stands for smile, track, adjust, and rejoin, basically. So that's where it comes from. And then over 12 weeks, if you are here in person in Sydney, then we do most of our work together, walking up and down hills through the bush, enjoying the beautiful. But I also do it online as well. But it is a rotational program that it's a 6-week rotational program that we do together twice. And I also I explain it a little bit like, when you watch a murder mystery, when you watch it the first time, you're very suspicious of everybody. But when you go back and watch it again, and you know who the murderer is, then you relax and all the clues were there. Everything makes sense the second time around, but you just weren't looking for it really. So we get to go around and do it again together. And that's where the magic happens, really, when people sort of trust me a bit more, and then they relax into it. And I just love it. I love it. I absolutely love working with my clients. So, the way I like to explain it is, as I said, I came from a fitness background. So when I was younger, I also, I suppose, used to go in there, and I never used to punish my clients, but there was always this drive to push, which is definitely not how I roll now. So I've brought together my coaching experience with my nutrition and my fitness, and then I teach food, fitness, and feelings, because it's never really about the gym or the wine or the coffee. It's why you do or don't do what you're doing. So we find that out together, but it's very slow and progressive.
Beautiful. I love it. And so do you have a website or somewhere where people can find your work?
Yeah, so it's Lynne Hutton at
Fantastic. LYNNEHUTTON.com.au.
yes, yes.
Fantastic. We'll put a link to that here as well. Lynn, thank you so much. Been great chatting with you. Any other sort of final messages or thoughts that you want to leave for people, or people that are thinking about maybe on the fence of studying the program?
Well, I think that whether you want to do this as a job or not, everything that you learn is so integral to your own personal health. And as I said, each time you go back and listen to a lecture, there'll be another level that you've been able to open up to understand. I think that's the going back to Dr. Libby, that's she's made me understand a lot more about biochemical things in the body, which means that when I did your program, it was just magic. It was just magic to be able to understand how important it is to know all of these things, whether you do that as a job or not. And the price point is perfect for that. Yes, it's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Please make sure to check out lynhutton.com.au.
Thank you.
Ciao. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.